my name is Dale Stauffer. I am one of the owners of a company in Phoenix called I Found Agent. We are an IDX / website development company. We've been building websites inside our company for about 5 years, and then I did a couple of years of website building before then. And I came out of the mortgage business. My dad was a realtor, and I got into doing mortgages in 1996. My first transaction was a Chapter 13 self-employed guy buying a rural home in Pennsylvania. And it took about 4 months to get done, but I fell in love with doing real estate transactions. And given my dad was a realtor, well, guess what my major career path in the mortgage business was working with real estate agents. In the 1999 era, I registered my first domain name and started learning about websites, and I got fascinated with real estate websites and lead generation and leads, and why weren't my clients, my customers, or my real estate customers, why weren't they getting leads from their websites? And I started studying them, and then finally 2008, I just couldn't take the crash anymore with the mortgage company I was involved with, so I got out and formed a company with Dave Mason. And actually, he and we owned a mortgage company together in Phoenix. We shut it down in the spring of 2008 and jumped into doing website technology, and we've been going strong ever since. So that's my background. I was trained in search engine optimization. Does everybody know what that is?
Yes.
Yep.
Anybody not know what that is? Okay, good. So I was trained classically in search engine optimization, and my takeaway from the years that I did search engine optimization, which I'm going to now call SEO, my years of doing SEO, the takeaway for me was Google saying, do things the way we tell you to do them, and we won't mess with your website. We'll treat you fairly like we treat everybody else. If you try to game us, we won't rank you well in our search engine. So I've always played by the fundamentals, by the rules, if you will, with all the websites I've ever worked with. Do the basics, and that'll carry you a long, long way against anybody else who's either not doing the basics or trying to game Google in trying to get around the system to get their sites to rank better than they should. So our product, our company, everything we do for our clients is all based on doing the fundamental work to satisfy what Google wants you to do for search engine optimization on your website. And extending that into IDX, the IDX world, there's things to look at for what IDX you're going to use and what website system you're going to use to market your business. So when I say IDX, does everybody know what that means?
No.
Anybody
I'll
else?
just say no. I think I know, but that's why I'm listening, because I really want to understand it.
Okay. Anybody else in the no category?
I think I used to know, but I can't remember.
No.
All right, so I'm getting lots of no's. Anybody definitively say, yes, I know what it is?
Nope.
Okay, so IDX, the IDX stands for Internet Data Exchange. And what IDX means or is it's the software that takes the raw listing information, the data from the MLS and crunches it, works with it in the software, and then puts it back out on a website for the public to see. Puts that listing data out on your website to see. Okay? So did that make sense? So
yes.
Yep.
Okay, so it's the software that puts listings on your website from the MLS. That's what an IDX is. Okay? So on Joan's website, this right here is a function of an IDX. So most IDX companies have some type of I would call this a quick search, and then they typically have some type of an advanced search. And we'll go through both of those a little bit, and then we'll talk more about, this call's about IDX and how to use it and what is it and good ones, bad ones, that kind of thing. Any questions so far? Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. So there's two types of IDXs. There's what's called a framed or iframed IDX, and there's what's called an indexable IDX. Yes.
Oh, just a little bit of housekeeping real quick. I just wanted to acknowledge Sky Doreen from Equity Title.
No, Empire West.
Oh, I'm sorry. Empire West.
We don't have equity up here.
Empire West. And if you just want to say a couple, just introduce yourself to maybe a few people that don't know you.
Well, thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm Sky Doreen with Empire West Title. I'm the account rep over here. I think I probably have met most of you, but thank you so much for coming this morning. We're trying to do everything we can to support you as agents. A lot of things have changed recently as far as what we can and cannot do to support you in your business. So we're always looking for new ways. And to me, I think technology and internet, of course, is the way of the future. So I'm really trying to bring as many resources from that angle as I can. So I really appreciate Dale and Dave putting this on today, and I really hope you find it useful. So let me know if you've got questions on anything that we can help you with, and I hope you think of us on your next escrow. But thanks so much for coming this morning.
I really want to acknowledge Sky for hosting this event. I think I talked to every single title rep in Prescott, and she was the only one where I could see the light bulb, go off above her head. She really understood it, and I appreciate you taking the risk for bringing. This isn't the kind of material agents are used to getting and seeing, so I just really want to thank you for trusting us to deliver this to the people in your community. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to be quiet.
Sky, thank you, Sky.
You're welcome.
And Dave, thanks for slowing me down there because I jump in and get going. So thanks for backing me up there. Okay, we good?
We're good. On with the show.
Okay, so let's do a quiz. I said there's two types of IDXs. Who took notes and can tell me what they are?
You stopped in the middle of it. So.
Framed and indexed.
Framed and indexed. That is correct. So there's indexable IDXs and there are framed IDXs. So I'm going to show you an example of a framed IDX. You know what? I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to, we have about 8 of you on the webinar. I'd love to not mute you guys, but I will if can. I don't know if you guys can keep the ambient movement down as much as possible. Otherwise, I'll mute you. But if we can, because I like to interact as much as I can with questions. But if it gets too noisy, I'll mute everybody. But I'm gonna leave you open for now. So let's look at a couple of websites and see what we see from a IDX perspective. And I'm just going to jump in. So this is an IDX function right here. So we're showing listings on the front of Linda's website. Here's another piece of the IDX right there. And let's jump in and just see what happens. So one of the things that I'm looking at is I'm looking at Linda's web address up here. Okay, and I want to see what happens to this web address when I click into a listing. Okay, it's not that your clients are going to be looking at this, but the search engines look at this. So I want to see what happens, just so that I know how to chat about it. Okay, so what Linda's website has is a indexable IDX because she has a unique web address for this particular property. Okay, so it is indexable. I'll come back to the quality of it because there's some things that aren't that great about it right here that she may or may not be able to correct with the Windermere system that she's using. Okay, but I'll come back to that in a second. So let's jump over to look what Joan's got. And she's got listings. Let's see what she's got. So what I'm seeing for Joan is something to fix, actually, if she wants to use the IDX to help her website in the search engines, get more traffic, get more exposure for her in the search engine. So the iframed IDX, which I don't see one, so I'm going to go show you guys an example of it. And Flex MLS is actually very notorious for having an iframed IDX. So this is one of our clients. They're one of our longest standing clients, and they use a combination of our IDX and Flex MLS's IDX. Okay, so if you guys notice, for any website to be search engine optimized correctly, Google's looking at a couple of major things on your website. So they're looking at what's called the title. That's this thing up here in the tab of the browser, okay? Consumers don't see this, but the search engines see it. So if you notice when I mouse over, it says search homes by model name Sun City West. Okay, so when Google comes in, they come in to read this page from the upper left. Basically, they read it like a book. They read left and right, up and down, all the way to the bottom of the website down here. That's how the search engines read a web page. Okay, so they're looking for what this page is about. So every page on a website should be about something different, something unique. Okay, you don't want to have two pages that are the same on your website. Google and the search engines don't like that because they think, oh, you're trying to rank for this particular topic, by stuffing your website full of unnecessary content. So they call it, spamming, or they have their own. They don't like it. So every page should be about something different, uniquely. And the way they see that is when they come into your website, they're going to look at the title, then they're going to look at the URL. Well, the first thing they're going to see is the URL because that's what they got to the page. And then they're going to see the title, and then they're going to see this major headline right here. Okay, this is like the headline of a newspaper page, the main headline. There's always one main headline on every page, or there should be. Okay, so if you think about it, I want to see, or what Google's looking for is that the title matches the URL and the main headline. Okay, and then are we able to get content into the page that matches up with the title and the headline and the URL? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if it doesn't, let me know, because it's important that you guys all understand that. Okay, then I'll keep going. So in an indexable, or in a framed IDX, which is what this is an example of, it looks like all of this content is on this page. Okay, so Google, we would expect Google to come through here and be able to start ranking this page for some of these things. However, watch what happens to my domain name when I click one of these. Okay, I'm going to click this first one. Okay, I'm now on the page I'm now looking at content for this particular property. Here's my information. Okay, but my domain name didn't change. You guys see that?
Okay.
So this website can't get any credit for the content that this IDX is putting into their website because of the way it's framed in. So it's basically all of this content resides on FlexMLS's website, and all we're doing is displaying it in such a way that Google can't really see it. Your browser can see it, but Google can't see it. So if you want something from your website that if you want something more from your website than just being part of your business card that you hand out to somebody, an iframed website or an iframed IDX isn't sufficient for you using your website in the search engines to get more traffic or visitors to your website, because Google can't see this content. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So when I go in and I just went to look at the code that basically shows this page. Okay. But when I go in here, I'm going to show you guys. So this link right here, and you guys don't have to be code experts, so don't get freaked out on me here about showing you the code. But this little piece of information right here, I don't know if you can see it. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that piece of code is what's making this work. Okay, and there's nothing in this code that says anything about this particular property. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So while this may present well, and it's something you guys are probably used to seeing because you've worked inside MLS a lot, it doesn't present itself to the search engine, so it can't help you with your online marketing from getting new customers from the search engines. Okay. Also, I can't send a link to this property to my client. Okay, if this was my website and I want to say, hey, I have that property on my website, I can send it to you. I can't send it to them off of this. I could go into MLS, but I can't send it to them out of my website. And I want people on my website. I don't necessarily want people going into Flex MLS all the time or into PAR, okay? Because I'm an agent who wants more out of my website. Okay? Does that ring a bell to you guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
That was a tentative okay. So is there a question there?
Well, I'm just curious we go through so many listings in a day. How can each listing show up in the URL or in the tab as having its own page?
Great. That's a perfect segue into talking about an indexable IDX. Okay. So thank you for reading my script, and let's jump into. I'm actually going to do a. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of examples. Joan, it's actually kind of tough to tell whether you have an indexable IDX on your website, okay, because you don't have any real specific property, or you don't have Prescott. You don't have Prescott homes for sale. Oh, there it is. Sorry. So let's click into a house here and see what happens. So you have somewhat of a indexable IDX in your site. The one of the big problems with your site, Joan, is this isn't actually your website. This is HomeSmart's website. So it's in a similar situation by using Flex, where the traffic that you're bringing to your website, when you hand out somebody's business card, I've actually already forgotten your website address, because this is what it shows. What was it, joaneaton.com?
Sorry, it's JoanM.com.
Joan, what is it? Okay, Joan. Yeah. So it's, do you see that that's what happens? I think you knew that, right?
I didn't know that, but I do now.
Okay, so this actually isn't your website. This is HomeSmart's website. Okay. So that's a problem for you for building your brand online, because you're not actually promoting you, you're promoting HomeSmart. So your website's really kind of only as good as the business cards that you hand out, or the flyers or mailers, things like that you give to people. Okay. And then when I go into Prescott, like we just did, I have this advanced search page, but again, it's in that HomeSmart area, so it's not your particular website. And it is, I mean, while the company websites look okay, they look nice, they've got good functionality, they're not great for you as an individual agent to promote your own brand, which is a lot of what I hear real estate agents want to do, is promote their own stuff. I mean, you have your own web address, joanm.com. All right. I'm not sure who's outside, but I muted you guys because it was starting to get in the way. So if you guys want to send me a message, send me a chat, and then I'll unmute whoever sent me the chat. But that's a shortcoming from using a company provided website, where it's not branding you, it's branding your company. But they're often cheaper solutions and startup solutions for folks who are just getting into the business. But in our opinion, they're just not sufficient for if you're really looking to brand yourself. Okay. So let's go look at Linda's real quick. So Linda, let me unclick. Linda, are you there?
Hi, yes.
Hi, what was your web address? I forget.
lindaspencer.com.
Okay, so you have a similar situation.
Get that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So can you see that you have a similar situation that Joan has?
Let me see. Well, it says Linda Spencer up there.
Yeah, but then it says .prescottforsale.com. So
okay.
There's this here is their website, unless that's I don't think that's your website address. That's
looks like I'm part of theirs.
That's right. So you may have gotten a quick solution for a website, but again, this doesn't help you brand yourself and help you get, some authority in the search engines. This is helping out Prescott for Sale as a main domain name. So the question I ask is, what happens if you ever left Windermere to any work that you put inside this website? Mostly it would be lost, because that's typically what happens when people get a company built website is, there's not a lot of incentive to work on it because you can't take it with you. And it limits your ability to really brand yourself, which is, we're an independent IDX website development company. We're all about, we're advocates for our clients, for real estate agents, to brand yourself, to market yourself, to give you a product that's portable between company to company. That's what we're all about. while this is a you know, I'll say an economical solution, and it probably didn't take you long to get it up and running, it has its limits in terms of what it lets you do and how you can promote yourself, and the longevity for you if you ever decide to leave Windermere. And you know, real estate changes, agents move around quite a bit, so you know, that's a decision. That's something you'll have to think about. So I'm just clicking into this particular listing.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to. Okay, so if you notice, this changed, correct?
Correct.
So, however, when I go look at the title of the page, 1621 Spruce Canyon, and then I go look at this, and then I come back and look at this, there's a little bit of a disconnect between this, and this. See that?
At least it's on the tab.
It is on the tab. I doubt that you'll be able to change this with your current company.
I was told that I could send listings from this website to people.
You can, because what makes this indexable is, and this is where I was going with the conversation, this is a unique page on this website. Okay? So let's just try something here. So the way to find out, one of the things you want to find out about your website is if you go to Google. So I'm in the address bar of my browser. Okay, I'm not going to go. I'm going to go look for Lynda Spencer dot. Nope. Well, we'll do com first.
Oh, .prescott for sale.
Yeah, let's see what happens when I do Linda. So when I do lindaspencer.com, it's telling me you have one page online.
Well, that makes sense. I haven't spent any time on that at all.
Well,
that's actually all I have.
That's all you have. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Betty. Betty's taken off. So thanks, Betty. I hope to talk to you again. Okay. So because of the way your site's set up, you only have one page online. If we did the same thing for Joan, she's got the same problem. She's only got one page. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let's go look at Linda Spencer. Let's try this another way. It's Prescott Homes AZ.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I thought it said Prescott for sale.
Prescott for sale.
Prescott for sale. Prescott is for sale.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I'm a comedian.
Oh, got it. Now, this is saying there's 28 pages. Okay, see that?
Okay.
So there's 28 pages inside your website that are online. Okay, but if you notice, there's no property listings. Okay, from your website though, they have it set up so you can forward this, you can email it. There's different things you can do with this. So at least there's functionality here for you to share it with a client. But this page isn't getting found the way that your website's set up in the search engines for somebody to find it doing a search. Okay, and the idea with an indexable IDX, so let's jump to, this is one of our clients up there, Cutting Real Estate. So when I click into a property, watch what happens to the URL. So I have a URL that matches, look at the title. So 2151 West Mountain Laurel Road matches my URL, and then it matches my headline. And then we have some content down here about the property, and then we have it again right there. Okay? So Google knows that they know what this page is about. So I have a good shot at somebody finding this page in the search engines. So let's just see what happens. So by Prescott AZ, let's do a search for this site. So she's got 1,500 pages. So between the three of you guys, between that website and your two websites, who has a bigger net in the search engine?
Ginger.
Ginger's got a bigger fishing net, that's for sure. Okay? Because her site has an indexable IDX put in place that makes all of the listings that she's got dumping into her website have a chance of getting picked up by Google, and now somebody can actually go search and find her site for lots of different variations of keywords, lots of variations of searches.
How do you get the name, the street address into the URL?
That's a function of the software. Can it do it or not?
Oh.
Chances are you can't fix this.
No,
Okay.
I don't think I can.
Yeah, I would bet lots of money that you couldn't fix this. And
so you're saying that your IDX software can do that?
Yes, because that's what this is doing.
So if somebody was looking for an address of a house and they put it into Google, it would come up.
Well, you have a chance of competing for that. Yep.
Okay.
You can't ever say you will come up because we don't know what Google's going to do with ranking your site. Make sense?
No, I don't mean me, but I mean that address.
Right.
Okay. Oh, so you just see who has that address on their website.
Yeah. So I know that this Bellaterra, I think that's one of our clients. Yikes.
Let's find out.
I don't know if that's our client or not.
I can't think of her name.
However, I'm going to send a note. Okay. Well, I love live demos. They're always exciting. But you can see that all of these websites have a chance of coming up for that specific property, right?
Right.
So that brings to mind, how do you rank? So ranking comes from how much work you're doing on your website. So you guys have a sense of, have you been told, let me just see if see if the noise settled down. Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys have been told, how do you get your website found in the search engines? Like, what have you guys been told over the years?
If you're active and you put content on daily or as often as possible, the more activity on the website shows that there's activity.
Yes. Anybody else been told that also? Okay. I think some of you guys have been told that. But now, what kind of content? That was Linda, right?
Right.
Yeah, so what kind of content have you been told to put on your website?
Blogs, Blogs, text, I think any activity, putting up photos.
Yes. So one question about your site is, where do you blog? Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you may have a feature that you can turn on to blog, but
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's really anything I can do with this website.
okay. So that's something for you to think about if you're planning on using your website to forward your business in the search engines, correct? Can you hear me?
Correct.
Okay. So
Yes, can you hear me?
I can, yeah. So the next question in the series that I'm asking you about is, so when you say blog, what kind of blogs? Like what kind of content goes into the blogs? Have you been told that?
Well, I took your class
Oh,
and Ginger was there.
okay,
so I know
gotcha.
where you're going with this.
You know where I'm going with this. Okay, for everybody else, what mostly real estate agents have been told to blog about is, news in the area, um, staging tips, winterizing your home, steps to buying a house, financing tips, market stats, all that kind of information. Is that stuff that you guys have all heard before? Anyone? You guys still there?
I'm here.
Okay. I just want to make sure that is that stuff that you guys have heard before for content.
I filled an entire website, page after page after page, with stuff like that, and I don't think it did any good.
Who's talking?
Linda.
Linda.
Yeah.
And, anyone else have a comment about that? Okay, Joan sent me a note. She's kind of new, so she hasn't heard a lot about what to do or what to. So our position as a company is consumers don't search for home staging tips. Consumers don't search for market stats necessarily. They're not searching for that kind of information. They're searching for house information, searches that meet their criteria, where they want to live, lifestyle searches. That's the type of stuff that they're going to Google to search for. So what we have built with our system, and it plays into, Linda said, I've done a whole website full of content, and I didn't get anything from it. And my bet is Linda put a lot of content into her website that was related to news, buying tips, staging tips. Is that accurate, Linda?
Oh yeah, I put information about every 55 plus community, all the photos, all their.
Where's all that work?
Where is it?
Yeah, is that website gone?
I took it down and replaced it with this one.
Do you have all that content still?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Well, because if you were going to put up a different site where you actually fixed your IDX problem and your blogging problem, that would be great content to put back into play. And then use the blogging piece, especially, with what we do, use the blogging piece to then make that content actually worth something.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Because I don't know what system you use to put it on, but if you put it on a system that was kind of like this, I don't know, right?
Oh, well, I built it with Macromedia Dreamweaver.
Yep.
I built it with that,
and then did you plug an IDX in?
Actually, I don't remember. I think I did.
Okay. So depending on how you plugged it in, you may or may not have had, I don't know how many years ago that was, but you may or may not have had an IDX that was going to drop in housing data into a real estate site.
No, I didn't. I just linked it.
Okay. So you went about, like, you just, you did some of the right work, but you didn't have all the pieces in play to actually have your website win.
That's right. That's
Okay.
why I'm like, I'll just let somebody else do it for me next time.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a little while about like sort of the place you're in about websites. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what we've done with our system is we've taken away some of the pain, if you will, of what kind of content to put on my website, how long it takes to put in my website, how hard it is to put in my website. We've taken all of that away so that all there really is to do is blog about different types of lifestyle searches. At a minimum, blog about the different types of searches that your clients ask you for. Because you guys are all experts at real estate. And Joan, I would offer that, I don't know how long have you lived up in Prescott? 5 years. So you have some experience up there, and you're probably not 19 years old, right? So you have life experience to bring to the table too. And you've been around people who have bought houses. You've sold some houses in 5 years. So you have a fair amount of you have a fair amount of market knowledge that could easily translate into your website given given some guidance is my assertion. Okay. Everybody else who's on the call or on the webinar who's been around for a while, there's nothing to figure out from a content standpoint. You know, I want 4-bedroom homes in Prescott Lakes. That's what your client asks you for. So what do you typically do with that kind of a request? You go into PAR, you fill out a search, you drop their name and email in, and you set them up on some type of a search inside PAR that sends them a link out. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So while it's a process that works, it gets people what they're looking for from you. It doesn't do a great job of branding you and marketing you and giving your client something they can forward to somebody else. Okay? Which is what we're all about with websites. We want you to have something that you can brand yourself with, that you can send to your clients. Your clients can then send it out to other people who you don't even know. They at least have that opportunity. They can't do that with certain websites, and they certainly can't do that with what you guys are using in PAR. Okay, so when I look at Ginger's website, and she's relatively new with us. She hasn't done a whole lot with her website, but I'm going to jump in, and she's done some work with it. So let's look at what she did with Crossroads Ranch in Prescott. So all she's done here is she's put in a page for a blog post for Crossroads Ranch in Prescott. So I'm going to go into this page and help her out here a second. So let's go in and okay, I'm logging into the WordPress side of. So do you guys know what WordPress is?
Well, I think you can design websites, and you can even blog with WordPress.
Yeah. So all websites are built by some. All websites are built by some particular website or technology. Linda said she used something called Macromedia Dreamweaver to build a site. WordPress is a technology to build and maintain a website. You can hand build a website using code. There's different versions, like This is built on a particular technology. This is built on a particular technology. These are, depending on how they're built, you can easily manipulate them, change them, edit them, or you have to go to a developer to do it. We use something called WordPress, which is a technology that allows you as the owner of the website, it empowers you to do your own changes if you want. So I'm going to show you, we have this particular blog post. I'm going to go, Ginger hasn't asked us for help with this. She wrote this on May 27th. I'm going to go look at what she did because there's a couple things here that she needs a little schooling on. So let's look at this. Yeah. Okay. So let's go into this. Where is it? Crossroads. So I'm not going to mess up what she's already done, but I'm gonna add in Crossroads Ranch, a search for it off of her website, so you guys can see what we're talking about. So I'm now logged in. I want to do. Actually, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do this a different way. Sorry. I'm actually gonna come in here and say homes for sale in Crossroads Ranch in Prescott. Wow, that's good. So if you guys are experts in your market areas, you may have a paragraph or something to write like she did here. So I could take this content, drop it in here, okay? I am going to get rid of that link. So it's just fresh content for me. And then I'm going to say, see all homes in Crossroads Ranch. And then now I'm going to open up our IDX tool. So this tool allows you to craft a search right inside your website. Okay, you can draw a map with it. Very easy to embed a map because I know real estate agents get asked all the time about areas, not necessarily subdivisions. So you can easily drop in a map. But I want to do something with let's just see if it's in here. Is it? I don't know. Is it a city?
Yeah, CRO. It's in there.
There it is, right there. So I'm going to drop this in, okay, and I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm just going to leave it like that, okay. So this is the code that's going to go look at our server, which is pulling in PAR MLS data, okay, and I'm actually going to just drop this into we'll just drop it into Prescott Real Estate News for a second, okay? Actually, no, I'm going to make a new category called Prescott Communities. I'm going to add this category, and now I'm going to publish this page, okay? And let's look at it. Okay, so let's compare the two. All right, I now have this page, which is what Ginger did, and I'm gonna give her a call and get her turned around on how to do this. Okay, and then on this page, this is the same. It's basically the same blog post, except for I dropped our IDX in. Okay, so I'm now I have a blog post that I can now copy this link and open up an email program and send it to my client, and it takes them right to this page. Your customer can save this search into their account, okay? They also, there's 6 homes here for sale these are all resells that are in Crossroads Ranch, okay? I think this showed, This shows 5. Okay, now notice the way she did this, she's dumping people into Flex MLS, which is familiar to you guys. But again, this doesn't help her website. It doesn't help her necessarily with branding, and I can't send this to a client. I can't send this to a friend of mine. Okay, so this, what this does is it gives me this page of content. But when I then click into this property is now on my website. Okay, so that I have a chance of coming up for this particular property because it's on my website. This is a UCB or under contract accepting backup offers. So this particular, but you guys understand that this is a page that's now on my website. I didn't leave anything. Okay, the consumer's still on my website. There's certain, they have a lot of ways to interact with me as the agent using the system. Okay, and I've just created a blog post called Homes for Sale in Crossroads Ranch that when I click this, somebody's on my website. They stay here. Okay. Now, in reality, how long did that really take me to do?
10 minutes.
No. That actually, yeah. If I knew this information off the top of my head, which you guys do about your market areas, a couple of minutes. This search, how long did that take me? That took me less than a minute to plug that in. Okay. And I now have a legitimate blog post that the search engines can find to do something with and bring additional people to my website in the future.
Tell John Kazicki we can hear him.
He's muted. I don't know if he's in somebody else's office.
I can see his name comes up here saying talking.
Oh. Huh. Because I have him on mute, but maybe he was, wow.
Here I am.
Hi, John.
Hi. We can hear you, John.
Okay, so does this, what I just covered, make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's fun. Fun stuff.
Yeah. So now look at so this is something we're going to train her on. I need to get back and let her know that this isn't the way to do this. Because what happens if I look at the source of this page, there's no listings here. And this is a link directly off of her website to Flex. So she's taking people away from her website to look at Flex. Whereas this accomplishes the same thing. And I've just created this page and I've given 6 other opportunities for the search engines to find other pages on my website for a total of 7 pages while I wrote this one. So then the game becomes how fast or how routinely do you build these kinds of searches in your website? So if you're a Prescott Lakes expert or a Hasayampa expert or a Pronghorn Ranch or whatever, wherever the Pines, wherever you guys are in what you're doing up there, the more you can do for an area, because now you could do 4-bedroom homes at Crossroads Ranch. You could do homes with acreage. There's a variety of things that you could do for to dominate an area that you guys want to dominate. And then it's just a game. It's a game of how often can I do this? Once a day, once a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. Every time I do a new search, when I go to an open house and there's no one walking around, I can pop up my website and do some searches. One of the great things about WordPress is I can do, let's say it takes you 10 minutes to do a search and you have an hour of nobody at an open house with you. You could schedule out 6 blog posts to publish over the next week such that you could write them all in one day and then schedule them out over the course of a week to launch. And so you've done your writing assignment for the week. Now, when these get posted, Google knows about them. Just one of the great things about WordPress is it sends out a note to the search engine saying, hey, there's new content on this website. Here's a link to it. Come back and look at it. And the search engines then have the opportunity to come back and look at it. On this kind of a website, you're basically never ever going to get found. Same thing with Linda's site here. She really doesn't have a chance at coming up in any searches ever for herself. So while it presents well and it does some other things for her, what it doesn't do is help her in the search engines. So if you're looking for something more from your website, more from your IDX, then there's other things to do. Okay. What else can you do with a good IDX? You can set up, you can use it to, you can actually do this with featured properties on. You may be able to do this with your current system, where you can assign different featured properties to show a listing agent, to show a listing client. Hey, I can feature your website or your house on the front of my website. You can, if you have the flexibility, all hours does is require you to put in an MLS number, and then boom, you can use that for a listing presentation. Okay, so there's a lot of different flexibility and different uses for an IDX that gives you a lot of power or a lot of flexibility. Okay, so I want to ask the question: Do you guys have a sense now of what IDXs are and what they can do for your website?
Yeah, I see it, Dale, for sure.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on what we talked about?
Not really. It's just being consistent with what you're putting into your WordPress, right?
That's yes, but I would argue, John, that it's not necessarily even consistency. It's what you're putting into your website that makes a difference.
Right.
So you could put in home buying tips, one tip a day for 30 days, for example. But
if nobody's looking for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you think about Zillow and Trulia for a second, those guys are brilliant. And I'm gonna mute you guys for a second because I'm getting some feedback.
Yeah.
But if you think about Zillow and Trulia for a second, those guys have they're brilliant at what they do. Not only are they big, so they show up in all kinds of different searches. Okay. A lot at the higher level, like Prescott homes for sale versus 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes for sale in Prescott. Okay, they do really well at the high end stuff. But what WordPress can provide and what our IDX system, the way ours is built, it allows you to get down at the nitty gritty where your consumers are actually looking for homes and giving you an opportunity to communicate with them. But when you look at Zillow and Trulia, they have real estate agents and mortgage people on their website filling that, in addition to all the property content that they have tons and tons and tons of all other types of material, all kinds of questions, all kinds of answers, all that stuff. Okay. Well, it's not that consumers are in Google looking for that stuff and they see it on Zillow and go. Okay. That information's there for the sole purpose of when somebody goes to Zillow and starts looking around at properties, they're engaged by the other types of content that's there and helps them stick around to eventually become some type of a lead that Zillow then sells back to the real estate agents that are paying to be there. Does that make sense to all you guys? So it's kind of like a racket.
Yeah.
It's brilliant the way they do it, because if you see the information, you're going to read it potentially. However, you're not out there searching for it. You're looking for houses. So looking at the content on Zillow and Trulia for ideas for your website, a valid place to get it, but it's your intention of writing it is not the right purpose. It's something you can add to your website once you get a base of customers that will then be interested in reading it. But first, you got to build out, or part of your strategy for a website is, how do I use my IDX to dominate my market? And that's a lot of what we focus on with our clients and our IDX product and our website product. So I would encourage, and I've spent, I don't know, I've probably written 4,000 blog posts over my career on different things. And I understand the pain of writing content. I've written a ton of it. And, too bad in the mortgage business there wasn't a tool like what we have for the IDX to do mortgage content, because there wasn't. So anyway, that's I'll bring it back to you guys from a question and answer. Do you guys have any questions at this point?
No.
Do you have a sense of, now I would say again, you guys have a sense of IDXs and what to look for in an IDX product?
Yeah, it really looks like it's you got to devote some time to it.
Yeah.
Because Ginger's the classic example. I can't imagine that Ginger has time to sit down and write anything. You might have a secretary or something, or somebody that she delegates to do it, but I would find it hard pressed to believe that Ginger's writing content for her website.
Right, but I would offer that Ginger could do this in 5 minutes.
That's a lot of time for Ginger, I bet you.
Well, I get it, but she's doing it in Armless in a sense already, or not Armless, but PAR. Right. She took the time to go publish the search for this. So, yes. And then you guys put searches in PAR all the time for your clients for the 1 or 2 minutes or 5 minutes that it would take to jot down a quick, brief description. And you don't even have to do the description. You can just come into a blog post. Let's say you don't have time let's say tomorrow you don't have time, but you still want to get a blog post out. You can come in, launch a blog post, and do a quick search and publish it, which takes you literally 1 minute to 2 minutes to do it from start to finish. So it doesn't have to be a long-standing written statement. Okay, I mean, I don't think this would take any of you guys more than a minute or two to write up, especially in the markets that you're working in, the subdivisions you're working in. And then to quickly drop in a search and publish this, and then you move on to the next one. Okay? So I will hang on, Joan's asking me a question. So there's my name and phone number. If anybody have any other questions at this point? So one of the things that I want to offer to you guys is, you may be in one of 3 places at this point. We have an IDX website service, and we coach our clients on how to use it, train them, teach them how to use WordPress, and give you marketing strategies to use what we've got. And one of the places you might be in is you're just not interested. And in which case, thank you. I thank you for being on the webinar to learn about it. I hope it's been worth your time and that you got something out of value, and you now have some things to think about with what you're currently doing with your website. A second position would be you want to do it and you're ready to go, and where you would go to do that is our website at iFoundAgent. You would want to go into website designs, pick a design, and then you would go to Get Started and fill out the form in the Get Started area. I can't do it because I'm actually logged into our system. But it looks like this. It's a fairly simple form that you fill out. And if you're interested in getting going, we can talk after the call or later on today. And then the third place you may be is that you want to do it, but you're in a familiar place that actually you probably find yourself in, or you find yourself in this in other areas of life as well, where you want to do it, but you're stopped by something. You may have to do more research, or you need to think about it, or there's something. For me, it's it's something that holds you back from really doing what you want to do. For me, I have something that I ask myself: am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it the right way? And then I hesitate with what I'm doing. 5 years ago, when we were building websites for real estate agents, we had installed lots of different IDXs, and I wasn't too happy about all the IDX products we were working with from a search engine optimization standpoint. For a year, the guys in my company, we thought about it, and finally we took a risk, dumped our money into a pool, and 4 years later now we've been selling our IDX. And we didn't know what it was going to look like. And now we've got 300 customers that we're working with. So it took a risk to get to where we were. So that's, you may be in that category. And if you are, I encourage you to take a jump and get going with the changes you need to move what you're doing online to a different level, to another level. So any questions at all for me? I think we're about at the end of our time, and I want to bring it back to Sky.
Thank you both for what you presented today, and everyone on the call. I hope you did learn something about IDX. I do think it's personally really important for getting found out there, and it's just such a great way to have instant content like Dale was talking about, and that's what I love about it, because it's true, creating content does take a lot of time, and we're all busy, hopefully working on transactions. But if you take just a couple of minutes, a couple times a week, put in a little time here and there when you've got the time, I think it can be really helpful. So thank you everyone for attending, and I hope you found it useful.
Very good. Thank you, Sky.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Sky.
Sure thing.
Any other questions for
thank
me?
you too.
Yep.
No, I've got to commit the finance to get it going. That's my personal stumbling block with this. I'm totally sold on what you're presenting. It's
Okay, John, you should call me and talk to me about it.
Okay.
Yeah, did you get my number there?
I have your website. I have everything, so I'm sure it's on there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
480-226-3020.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'll give you a holler.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Oh, you know what? I forgot one more piece. If you guys go to our website, I Found Agent, on the blog, there is a blog post here for get free videos. And if you fill out this form, we have 2 videos that we'll send you. It's a one-time email. We'll send you 2 links to 2 videos that talk about using your website, marketing your website, etc. That we'll send you as basically a parting gift for today.
Yeah, one is how to use your IDX for social media content, and the other is how to use your website in a listing presentation, which I have a few people doing it, and it is awesome. So you definitely want to watch those.
Okay.
Just go to the blog and fill out the form, and you'll get them immediately.
Excellent.
Okay, everybody. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Bill.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Linda.
Bye, John. See you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.